Hello everyone, how's everyone doing today? I'm Chef K here again. We're gonna work on cream of broccoli soup. We're gonna prepare for you. The recipe is here. Sorry for all the scribbling. I actually had to convert this down to about half of what I was gonna make previously. I don't want like a whole gallon of soup. I'm probably gonna make a quart or two out of this. So we're gonna do some preparation of the vegetables. We're going to do some dicing, chopping, and cutting all this vegetables up, and then I'll show you some sauteing and getting our stock going and getting all this put together. All right, so the first step of our recipe is getting our onions and celery together. So as you see, I have an onion and some celery already cleaned up and ready to go. So the first thing I want you guys all to know is that when we do cutting on a board, we usually put a damp paper towel under the board. Does anybody know why we do this? It's because the board, it keeps it from sliding. So if you put the board on a regular table, see how it can slide around, but when you put it on here, it kind of keeps it more stable, so you're not like moving, your board's not moving while you're cutting. So first thing we're doing is we're gonna cut an onion, and just some safety things I always tell my students is what's safer, a sharp knife or a dull knife. And of course the sharp knife is safer. It's going to go through the cut through easily. All right, so what we're going to do is cut a little bit of the top. So this is how I usually clean my onions. I cut through the top, cut through a little bit of the root, then I go around to the back and I do just a little slice around the back, and then I just peel from to that slice. So I just take my onion, I peel through the slice, and then I can peel right around the onion. All right, and we'll clean our cutting board up, get that ready to go. And notice I have another plate for just the scraps, so we can get rid of them. We don't have them sticking around. We'll clean our board back up, throw the scraps out. So when it says on the recipe to chop, but I'm going to just dice these up. So when I dice, cut through the center of the onion, and then the root part, you cut towards the root part. So another thing is, remember, keep your fingers back. I'm just using the tip and I'm cutting straight down. And really with this soup, you're going to puree this soup up, so it doesn't matter if it's what size it is. I like to make it a little small, cooks quicker. And then we're just going to do a dice. Notice my grip. I got the thumb here, fingers around here, and I'm holding my tip on the board, and I'm going a forward rocking motion. And I'm not going to go too fast, so I don't need to be a speed demon here. I'm just going to go nice and slow so you guys can kind of see what's going on. And then we have that. We're going to put that in, we'll put it in this bowl. Have another bowl ready for our vegetables. And we're going to cut this one. And then same thing, forward rocking motion. And then we'll chop these up. Like I said, the recipe says chopped. I'm just going to dice them up. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to puree it up together. So what I'm going to do too is, while this is going, I got to get butter melted in a pan, because we're going to have to saute these vegetables. So I'm going to get that going over here. I'm going to put a little stick of butter in there. Get this on, starting on low. We're going to start melting this butter so we can saute our celery and onion in there. Just got to keep an eye on it. Celery, like I said, it's already cleaned. I washed it off, and we're just going to go down the middle of it. And then we're just going to do a dice on that. I said, when you get close to your fingers, just keep bringing your fingers back. All right, celery, and do one more. Sometimes if it's too long, cut it in half and then go down the middle. All right, keep them together. All right, so we have our celery all cut, onions cut, and we're going to start sauteing them in the pan. Go over here. Usually with this, I'm gonna use either wood spoon, plastic spoon today. And we're gonna cook them around. That butter melted in there a little better, and then we'll start cooking them up. While they're cooking, we're gonna work on the broccoli too and get this broccoli chopped up. So with this, again, you're just gonna take like maybe the heart or the stem part we can get rid of. And you're just gonna use the florets basically. Cut them all off. You can use some of the stem, but I wouldn't use too much of the bottom part. And maybe chop them up a little smaller. And then these are going to go right into our bowl and have it ready. It says approximately 6 cups. So I think we'll have enough. Chopping these up. And we're going to every once in a while go over to our pan and make sure we stir that up. Gotta stir, continue cooking these up. I might go a little higher so this gets done a little quicker. So we're gonna keep an eye on them, let them cook a little bit more. And the onions should start to get translucent. That's how you know when the vegetables are cooked enough. In the meantime, we'll continue working on this broccoli. This is pretty much done. And this can go in a bowl with the other broccoli. So like I said, it's approximately 6 cups of broccoli here. I didn't measure it all in a cup because my cup has the chicken stock in it right now, which is the next step. So it's supposed to have chicken stock, of course, if you're making a soup. So I already pre-measured this and did just a bouillon base, the paste I put in here. So it's really a teaspoon of the paste to 1 cup of water. Like I said, I divide the recipe, so this is like 3 cups of water in here, and it has the paste of the bouillon base in there. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting that's going to go in this other pot. And we're going to make sure we got that going. And I'm going to put that on. And we're going to get that cooking. And actually that can go, our broccoli will go in that, and we'll start cooking our broccoli off in that. So we have our vegetable sauteing. We have our chicken stock in there, and a broccoli, I'll put that in pretty soon. And we'll start cooking that. But we also are going to need some milk in this, and we're going to have to get some flour and butter. And what we're going to do with that is actually going to make a roux with that. I don't know if anybody knows what a roux is, but it's equal parts butter and fat. And we're going to cook that and make a roux. So we're going to get going working on that also. So we'll get another pan going for that and make the roux. And stirring that. This is getting there. And what I want to do is actually, I want to cook this and get this added to the chicken stock with the broccoli and cauliflower, or the broccoli and the vegetables, and then we are going to make a roux and then add milk to that. So we'll get our milk. Ready. So the milk, we're going to need about 2 cups of that. We'll measure that. Always when you measure, you want to go eye level. right to the line. And our milk is ready. Stir these vegetables a little bit more. So our milk is ready, and we can actually get our butter ready and our flour too for our roux, because we're going to have to get that all ready. So we're going to get that all going. And so the butter, I'm just going to do a half a stick, which is 2 ounces. And really with a roux, you're supposed to do equal parts flour and fat or butter. So if it's going to be 2 ounces of butter, I want to also do 2 ounces of the flour. So I have a 1/4 cup measure, which is 2 ounces. And truthfully, it's supposed to be by weight. It's really not supposed to be by the volume here, but we're just going to go with that. And I will be able to tell if I need to add a little bit more flour. I'll just add that. So we can actually start working on this also. So we're going to get this going, this going. And I'm going to put my broccoli in here and start cooking that off too. So now we have our broccoli cooking, we have our vegetables, our celery and onion cooking in another one, and we're just going to add these to the broccoli as this gets going. Make sure this is all in the water good, or stock. The butter's melting good. And I'll show you guys how we're making our roux and what that looks like. So these are getting there. You can see the onions are starting to get translucent, so they're starting to cook fully. And just remember, we put it in a stock, it's going to cook more in there also. So we got them going. And the butter, we're going to continue to melt that all the way down. So we got like 3 things going at once here, but kind of want to get this kind of all finished so you guys can see the finished product. The only thing with this oven is it cooks very quick. These burners up here cook quick, so you really have to watch and you don't burn your butter up. I think pretty soon I'm going to switch over to that burner. That's the smaller burner. As you can see, this is melted already. I think I'm going to shut that down, and we're going to actually switch this over to this. And I think right now it's good. It's going to cook again in the stock more, so I'm just going to start adding this to our stock and our broccoli. Get that going. All right, I'll just wipe that out. This off until I'm ready to get the flour in. I'm gonna wipe this out quick. All right. Now we're gonna add our flour to this, and this is what we're going to make our roux with. Now I believe I have more roux than I need, but I always like to have more because it's a pain to make more of this up, because then you have to go back and melt more butter and do the flour. So this should look like a kind of a thick paste. So right now I'm not sure if I got the consistency I want. I might want to add a little bit more flour. You can see it's kind of thin. You want a little thicker than this, so I'm actually going to add a little bit more flour to it. Like I said, it goes by weight really. I'm just doing it by the measuring cups. So a little bit more flour, and you are supposed to cook this a couple minutes. But with this, you don't want to get it too dark. Like the roux are different. You can do a light blonde roux, a white roux, and a brown roux. And you're just cooking it longer to get the different colors. So this one I'm going to undercook and not cook it too much, because I don't want it to get dark, because it's going to affect the color of our soup. Making a cream soup, you want it kind of light. So let's make sure this is all combined. And that's going, maybe go a little higher in this so this cooks quicker. And the roux, if you look, it's bubbling up a little bit. It's looking nice. Just want to keep stirring it. And then we're going to start adding our milk. Actually, I'm going to put the milk back in this one and make the sauce in that. So I'm going to put that there. We have our 2 cups of milk. And we're going to add the 2 cups of milk back to this. And we're going to start adding our roux to this and to the milk. And really what you're doing is you're making a bechamel. I don't know if anybody knows about a cream sauce. It's called a bechamel. So that's what we're actually doing. We make this roux, the butter and the flour mixed together, cook it. We add it to the milk and we'll be making a roux out of that. I might take my wire whisk, whisk it in. That'll heat up nice, and then we're just going to start adding this roux. I like to kind of just drop it in off the spoon like this and then stir it in. And eventually this is going to start thickening up. If it thickens up too much, you can always add more milk to it. I'm going to crank it up a little bit more. We're just going to go back and forth between our bechamel sauce and our vegetables. Actually, I can add the rest of the roux to this too if I want to, but I'm not ready for that yet. Yeah, so we're just going to continue cooking this. And really, you could do 1 or 2 things right now while you're waiting. You could actually season this up a little bit with a little salt and pepper, add a little bit more flavor to it. So this is actually going to be our broth and everything mixed in there anyway. So we're going to put some pepper in there now. I'm going to put some salt in there. And we're going to mix that all up and keep that cooking. That's a good. That cooking good, and we'll continue working on this. I can feel it's starting to thicken up over here already. And this will start thickening up pretty soon. Can you see the steam coming off of it now? It's getting hot enough to start thickening up. I want to keep on stirring this. Sometimes what I do is I'll go back to this pan and just get the rest of the roux out. And I'll stir this to get the rest of it. As you can see, there's still a lot. See how it's kind of the thickening already as I do that? And then we're going to add this back to this. This is definitely going to be thickening up. As you can see, it's already thick. It's a nice consistency now. You can see how that thickened up nice. And the more I cook it, actually the thicker it's going to get. But this is looking good. Remember, it can be a little thick because if we're going to add it to the stock, that's going to thin out. It's going to be thin, so we want to thicken that up with this. So this is looking real good now. And our vegetables are cooking good over here. I'm going to stir them up a little bit more. And look at this. See how thick this got now? So this is good. I'm actually going to shut this off so I don't burn it. Because you got to be careful when you put milk in there and you make this sauce, it will burn quick on the bottom. So I'm going to shut that off at this time. And you can see that's real thick now. How nice and thick that is. And then that'll be added to this broccoli. I said this might take a little, probably should have jumped on this a little earlier, got this broccoli cooking. But so that's good. We probably get rid of this can. That's going. This a little bit more. Nice and thick. Very good. All right. So, I don't know if anybody's ever made this before, but this is one of my favorite soups. I enjoy this soup. It's pretty easy to make. I mean, the only thing, like I said, is getting everything out and having everything ready. Everybody remembers that's mise en place, having all your tools and stuff ready. And just want to show you, once this the broccoli cooks, we're gonna puree it up with this. It's an immersion blender. All right, sometimes people call it a stick blender. All right, and what it does is sees this little blade here, and you just put that in right in. You can do it right in a pot. It'll actually chop up everything real fine for you, so it purees up everything. So we'll be doing that, and you guys can see that getting done. Going to the big boy up here. This big boy up in the front is going to cook quicker. That one down there was putting around too much. I want to get going here. We'll get this stuff out of the way. So we're going to put it on that one. And look at that cranked up now. That shouldn't take too long now. And you could also cover that too. Help cooking a little bit quicker. Sure this doesn't get clumped up on us and get clumps, but again, we'll puree this up anyway. But you can see how nice and thick that got. Really thickened up nice. So now we're just waiting it out a little bit. And you know, sometimes if you're done ahead of time, you can actually clean as you go. So of course we don't need a cutting board. We can get rid of that. And we don't need our bowls. And we can get all cleaned up here. So we're ready. Okay, let's see how this is doing. This isn't too much longer. Put that on there. What I'm going to do now, I think I'm going to take it and I'm going to start pureeing this up and then put it back on the flame, because truthfully, if it's smaller, it's gonna cook quicker too. So we're gonna bring this right over here. And I'm gonna just put that on. So all you do is you press your button. Just watch you don't get burnt. What I'm doing, just getting over this. And we're just puring this all up. Got to go on top of all the big pieces and just go on top. And what you don't want to do is pick this up when you're pureeing. If you pick it up, it's going to shoot all over. So you want to make sure this is submerged in the stock here, the soup. Now you can see how nice that looks. Nice and smooth. And we're going to just put it back on heat just a little bit more. And we're going to cook it down just a little bit more. And then we're going to add our cream sauce to it. And that's going to be pretty much, that'll be the soup. See? And we're going to continue to hook that down just a little bit more. What is all that now? And of course we have Sarah behind the camera again today, and she's been helping out.
Hi. Oh, amazing.
And again, I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy and washing your hands a lot. Now, this has been cooking pretty good. As you can see, it's bubbling real good. We have it pureed up good. So now, pretty much the last step is just adding our cream sauce to it. I'm just going to stir that in. Get all that in there. And you can see how nice that looks now. Nice consistency. Nice soup. And like you can season up a little bit more salt and pepper to taste. Of course, you would taste this and try it. And there you have our cream and broccoli soup. So I want to thank you again, everyone, for watching. We pray again that you guys are having a safe, healthy day and continue to be like that. And again, we'll say see you next time. And that's it for today. Goodbye.